Internet, welcome to Xenoverse. Wait, wrong show. Hey, what's going on, guys? You're watching the Modding Corner, and a couple of months ago I made this transformation video, and while I was brainstorming ideas for transformations to add to it, I thought of this crazy idea of a hypothetical version of Ultra Supervillain called Ultra Superhero. It's a dumb name, but so is Ultra Supervillain, so just roll with it, bro. And while it was meant to be taken as a fun crackpot series to fill the video out, with the recent DLC, it kind of reignited the fire of this idea because we get to see a lot more evidence to said series, as well as straight up canonical feats that were previously only shown in gameplay. So today, I'm going to be fleshing out the concept a bit more and providing some more evidence onto why I think we'll be getting Ultra Superhero in Future Saga Chapter 4. Also, heavy spoilers for Future Saga Chapter 3. If you haven't played the story yet, come back to this video later, or keep watching if you're evil. Anyway, to understand the Ultra Superhero series, we must first understand how Ultra Supervillain works. And from what we've seen of it, I think I have a pretty good idea of how it works. First off, the origin. This form was originally created by Fu following the various experiments he did after Infinite History. Now, it's based off the original supervillain form that Toei used in the game's main story, but instead of it being a traditional transfer of power via magic or object like the Tree of Might, Fu uses this object called a Demon Realm crystal that aren't actually from the Demon Realm. They're actually made by Fu using energy he built up, which is why they can so easily be found in places like mines, as they just exist to house power. Now, the first character we see using these powers is Z Broly, as Fu used him as an experiment to test out the strengths of it, which made him strong enough to easily handle all the Z fighters and corrupt them without even having to use the legendary Super Saiyan form. And when he does, Supreme Kai of Time calls him the strongest Broly in existence, including Super Broly. However, the CAC, with the help of the other Z fighters, defeat him, but little did we know that Z Broly was just the closed beta test, and now it's time for the open. Next, Fu gives his powers to Goku Black, right after he stole Goku's body, and again, I must state, this was right after Goku originally got his body taken, which takes an inexperienced Goku Black from basic Goku level strength to full power Super Saiyan Rose strength, including the ability to rip holes in space-time like his anime counterpart. Now, there's a pretty clear difference to how Broly uses this power compared to how Goku Black uses his. While Broly, for the most part, still has control over his actions, he doesn't really have any strong desires outside of basic destruction. Meanwhile, Goku Black has crazy ambitions like the Zero Mortals plan, as well as mastering Goku's body, and with the aid of the crystals, he's able to expedite that process. Now, for the sake of argument, I'm going to be calling Broly's form USV Grade 1, and the actual form with the crystal sticking out Grade 2. The difference between a Grade 1 user and a Grade 2 user is the desire, as the stronger your desire is, the stronger the crystal will make you. Not just in power, but mentally as well. We see this very blatantly with Vegeta, as Fu goes to a world where Vegeta becomes a Super Saiyan God instead of Goku, and he infects Vegeta with USV. That sounds like a disease. He infects Vegeta with USV, and he gets him to Grade 2 in order to deflect Beerus' special from fighters. Now, all seems to be going well at first until Fu summons Goku presumably from Battle of Gods, and instead of focusing on Beerus, Vegeta instead uses this opportunity to settle his rivalry with Goku, as surpassing Goku is Vegeta's true desire. However, Vegeta is able to break out of Grade 2 to help fend off Beerus. Now, was Goku definitely instigating that fight? Yes he was. But Vegeta also showed us how Ultra Supervillain can be overcome with enough mental fortitude, and how you can even make the power your own, as it almost allowed Goku and Vegeta to reach Super Saiyan Blue. And I think Fu knows this, because starting from Chapter 2, he begins to use Grade 1 on himself. Now, once he does, we quickly see Fu doing more and more evil deeds, like using Jiren to attack the Earth. And after we fight off Grade 1 Jiren and win, Fu forcefully makes him use Grade 2 in order to collect more battle data. This reverts Jiren to his old Tournament of Power mentality where might makes right and strength is absolute, even if that means he'll end up dying in the process. Unrelated, but this scene's extremely funny because Belmont is about to just straight up kill Jiren, and Goku's just like, aim for the crystal, idiot. Anyway, this continues to support the idea of USV corrupting your mind to support your desires, as it doesn't matter how good or evil your intention is, as it gave Jiren the power to fight 4 God of Destructions and the CAC and MUI Goku. Now, at the end of Chapter 2, we see Supreme Kai of Time directly acknowledging Fu's corruption at the hands of the Ultra Supervillain powers, but Fu says he's very much in control for now. This is the first time he directly calls the CAC a hero. which directly leads us into Chapter 3, where Fu teams up with Frieza in order to further test out his Ultra Supervillain powers, with Frieza using his minions as test dummies. And we get to see our next user of USV in DBS Broly, as Fu uses this as a way to control Broly, but is that what's really happening here? Broly is someone who is very rooted in loyalty, as all he had was his father and Ba, and Frieza states that Fu subtly got rid of Paragus, so who else would Broly be loyal to? That's right, Frieza. This is also why he's a grade 1 instead of a grade 2, as his loyalty to Frieza isn't as strong as his loyalty to Paragus, but that inner desire will still give him a power-up. On the other hand, Fu states that USV has no effect on Frieza. However, I'd argue it absolutely did. Think about the time period Frieza is from here. This is a post-Tournament of Power Frieza, who is a completely different kind of person than pre-Tournament of Power Frieza, as he spent years in hell with gods and Saiyans around to keep him in check. He doesn't necessarily crave complete control anymore, as we see him play the game more. He doesn't even want immortality by the time of DBS Broly, because that would, and I quote, make things boring. However, after Frieza starts using USV, we quickly see him revert to the rash and arrogant Emperor of Evil we saw in Z, with him making dumb spur-of-the-moment decisions like attacking Kantan and sending his armies just to get defeated. However, his desire for absolute dominance takes him to places I would never think DBS Frieza would go, like corrupting Shenron or straight up wishing to become a time god. Fu tries to tell him this, but again, you can't advise Frieza back then, and that arrogance was his downfall then, and it's his downfall now. Now, before I talk about Fu, I just wanted to briefly mention Cheelai, as we see her use grade 1. No, I'm not joking, this is a real image in the game, in order to stay in Kantan, as she doesn't want to go back to her timeline, which again, we saw that desire brewing throughout the dating sim mode. Now back to Fu. We see at the end of Future Saga Chapter 3 his frustration about his plans going wrong, and we finally find out the reason he's doing all this. It's because the future he saw back in Chapter 1 is very likely a bad one, and now he's on USV doing everything he can to prevent that future from coming to pass, and by extension saving the CAC, which again he also calls a hero. This is Fu's true desire. Before Chapter 3 ends, we see him creating a new fully crystallized sword, claiming that the pain will be intense, but he won't let us die. Now, the reason I brought all this pre-ramble up is to say that I don't think Ultra Supervillain makes you evil. I think it just enhances your power and willpower to make your innermost desires come true. Just because you are a bad guy doesn't mean you have to be the bad guy. And we see this with characters like Vegeta and Broly. Now, how does this relate to your CAC, you may ask? Well, I've actually been withholding some information from you all. Now, while the first person we see on screen use USV is Z Broly, he's not the first person we see using Demon Realm crystals, as the person who did that was, it's you, Charlie. You're the hero. Back when playable raid bosses came out, you could give Fu a Demon Realm crystal to transform you to a supervillain temporarily, and use the powers for your own. But if you saw that old video in short, this idea is one you likely know already. What I really want to talk about is the hypothetical absorbing and making the powers your own. As going off of what Goku and Vegeta can do, it doesn't seem out of the realm of impossibility for the CAC to do it, so that's why I included it. But thanks to Future Saga Chapter 3, we straight up got concrete evidence that yes, the CAC can absorb USV power, as when Shenron gets corrupted, he rains down lightning charged by the energy in the crystals. To destroy the crystals, we take the energy of the lightning and absorb it to land a powerful blast. Also, at the very end of Chapter 3's release trailer, we see the tease for Chapter 4 showing this greenish bluish energy coming from the cracks. And if you take the color palette of a USV crystal and invert it, you get this exact same type of colors. And after seeing all these conditions either teased or confirmed, I think we'll see an Ultra Supervillain form. Now, do I think it'll be a transformation? Maybe, but they've never locked an awoken skill behind paid content before, so I'd imagine it will be a cool cutscene animation or ending cinematic, and this is how I think it's gonna go down. We see Fu try to corrupt us with USV, as he is fully infected with grade 2 and is forced to fight us. After we beat him, he comes to his senses and tells the CAC that he had no choice. He pleads to be let go, and you decide to hear him out, and he explains to you, and only you, the CAC, that he did it to protect us, as the future he saw wasn't a good one, and to prove it, he finally agrees to take the CAC to the future. We see this future of an upcoming threat that will kill the CAC. this death is unavoidable unless we get strong enough to stop them. With that, Fu gives us one last choice to either stay by his side and take USV power, or to decline and accept our fate. This is where we can bring back the idea of infinite history having choices, and having a final choice of either accepting Fu's help or sticking by your ideals with the time patrol would be a really interesting way to end the DLC. Now, in what I'm calling the Ultra Super Villain ending, we accept Fu's proposal and become a grade 2 Ultra Super Villain alongside Fu. The people at the Time Nest are shocked you would betray them and consider you a threat to the timeline. We, alongside Fu, would fight Trunks, the Xenoverse 1 CAC, and last but not least, Supreme Kai of Time, maybe with her time power form, I don't know. As you defeat her, the timelines begin to collapse, and Fu begins to realize that this dark future he saw was actually created by him, and the timelines are in disarray, and now even Tauntaun's precious hero has fallen victim to evil. He makes a final sacrifice play or spell in order to destroy all the Ultra Super Villain crystals, as well as saving the CAC. But he sadly dies in the process, making it a bit of a bittersweet ending to Fu's story, as well as showing us that what he truly does is for the greater good. Now, the second ending, aka the Ultra Superhero ending, will start with us turning down Fu's offer, but he gets upset and tries to corrupt us anyway, which we take the crystal's powers and make it our own, becoming the Ultra Superhero. We get trapped in the future where we have to fight all the various Ultra Super Villains until you end up fighting a re-energized Fu. This will be the final battle, as here you get to put Fu down for good, as the Time Patrol says he's too strong to be kept alive, and his reckless time travel with the time rings will be the end of all of us. No! The CAC unfortunately ends up killing Fu, but not before Fu apologizes for making everything worse, and realizing that he's the reason the bad future is coming to pass. He just hopes that the CAC can accept his fate when the time comes. After we win, we use the new time powers to make it back to the Time Nest, as the whole Time Nest crew mourns over the loss of Fu. And that's my idea on where I think they could take this. I included the Ultra Super Villain ending as well, as I can honestly see it going both ways, and it would be a really cool way to reference infinite history. Now, in conclusion, do I think it's possible we'll get this form? No, but honestly, the evidence is so strong, I'm willing to bet on this over something like Super Saiyan 4. But what do you guys think? Do you think I'm looking way too crazy into this, or am I actually cooking? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to go a step beyond to support me, for only 99 cents you can see my videos and shorts whenever they are ready, as well as having your name at the end of my videos. Don't forget to follow me on my other socials too, if you just want to see more of me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. But hey, that's just a theory, a Xeno theory. Thanks for watching.